There you go.
Okay. It is now 7 o'clock, and I will call the meeting to order. Can I please get a roll call?
All counselors are present.
Can you please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have the special order of the day and announcements. Laura Williamson, can you please come down for a special order of the day?
Thank you very much, Madam President. With me, or tonight, we're here to acknowledge some volunteers that were very instrumental for helping us run the renovations to the Krieger Golf Course Clubhouse. And with that, by leveraging our partnership with Hendricks Career Tech, we were able to take a project that would have normally cost the city about $25,000 and leverage that through volunteer efforts and for materials alone and some staff time that we had with our Parks and Rec department. It cost the city about $8,000, but it's been unbelievable the response we've had with renovation. If you didn't get a chance, we've done some renovations to the bar. There is brand new carpet in the clubhouse now. That was a CIP project this year for about $28,000 was the cost of that. And because of leveraging that now, we've actually expanded some of the food fare with our great partnership with Putter's Pub. So with that being said, I'd like to acknowledge some of the volunteers that helped us out with that project. And if I could ask Mark Edwards to join me, please. We also, because we believe our volunteers are worth $100,000, we're also going to give them as a token of our appreciation just a candy bar to show that. We do have 3 students that were part of the Hendricks Career Tech. They had every intention of being here with us today. However, they did have a track meet that is running a little bit longer than anticipated. So with that, I am going to read their names. We will make sure that they get their certificates. It's Elias, Conrad, and Leighton Greenberg. These 3 individuals, they're high school students, did a phenomenal job when we were renovating the bathrooms, and they also came back because they had such a great experience to join us again with the clubhouse. So again, without them, this would not have been possible.
Laura, could you please repeat their names?
Sure. It's Elias, Conrad, and Leighton Greenberg. The first person, if I could ask them to please join us, is Justin Dahl. If he could please come up and get his certificate. Thank you again. And as you can see, we leverage that with CCI as well as with Hendricks Career Tech. The other individual, if you could please join us, is Dylan Malls, please. Thank you, Dylan, for all of your great hard work. We appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, if we could have Seth Nathan please join us. And these individuals work very closely with all of our youth in teaching them the trade, so it's a great partnership.
Thanks, Seth, very much.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, I apologize. Mark just reminded me. There was another individual. His name is Bill Mays, and he actually painted the whole entire clubhouse on his own. At his own time, but again, that saved us about $5,000 if we had to actually contract that services. So I want to thank Bill Mays as well for that.
And Laura, I just want to thank all the Hendricks Career Tech youth and everyone that was involved in that. Certainly we went out there for the ribbon cutting with some of the other counselors, and it is just beautiful, and I just want to thank you for a job well done. Now, With that said, I know we have some new hires with the city of Beloit, and so we're certainly excited to hear about that. So City Manager Luther, would you please do the honor and introduce our new staff to us?
Thank you. And if Director Williamson wants to join me and Chief Zabalski, City Attorney is already here. We do have staff from the Public Works Department, from the City Attorney's Office, and from the Police Department to introduce this evening. If everyone wants to gather at the podium other than Beth, that would be great. Yeah, all of the new staff members, please come forward. Not everyone was able to join us this evening, but to let you know, in Public Works, we have, would you like to introduce your staff, Laura?
Sure,
Please
that
go
would be
ahead.
okay.
Sure.
Thank you. I am pleased to announce that we have a new administrative supervisor, Ms. Tanya Johan. Tanya, if I could please have you join us. With us about 3 weeks, and she's got a vast experience in customer service and executive administrative management, so we're happy to have her on board. We also have Chris Brotzman, who was not able to join us this evening. He had some commitments with his family, but he is our new mechanic. So we're very excited to have Chris. He has over 15 years of background in both diesel and also solid waste vehicles, so very well-rounded. Excited to have him join our team. And of course, we have Monty Hansen. Monty? There's Monty. And Monty has joined our team in our grounds maintenance. He too comes with vast experience, so we're very happy to have them on our Public Works team.
Excellent.
If Doku McAllister, you just step forward. Doku joins us from Community Action. She's currently pursuing her HR Management bachelor's degree, so she's joined us as the HR Assistant in the Human Resources Department. We are very excited to have the help, so welcome, Doku. And then hiding in the back there is Attorney Guani Choa. He's joining us as the Assistant City Attorney. He comes from Rock County District Attorney's Office, where he was an Assistant District Attorney for 11 years, and he has 17 years in private practice before that, so we are certainly happy to have his wealth of experience as our new Assistant City Attorney. So welcome, Guani.
Thank you. No offense to anyone else, but as we all know, the most common name in Beloit City employment is Lori. So, with Laura as a close second. So I'll present to you our new records clerks, Lori Tyler and Lori Ibarra. Lori Tyler, both are Beloit natives. Lori Tyler has a background in medical transcription, and Lori Ibarra has a background in customer service and worked for a period at the Dane County 911 Dispatch Center. So both of them very skilled and already making a huge dent on the work that needs to be done in our Records Bureau. So we welcome them aboard. And Lori Tyler said she almost ran for city council one time, so just FYI.
Oh, that's good to know.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and welcome to our team. Next, we have item 4A.
Consideration of Resolution 2019-006 approving a conditional use permit to allow limited vehicle service use in a C2 neighborhood commercial district for the property located at 2034 Liberty Avenue.
Before you begin, Madam President, if you will, staff who is here to be introduced, while you are obviously welcome to stay, you are under no obligation. So you may leave before the public hearing if you have other things to attend to this evening. Thank you.
Okay.
In December 2018, planning staff initiated enforcement action against the owner of 2034 Liberty Avenue after discovering an unlawful auto repair shop in the rear storage area of the building on the subject property. The business is operated by Waylon Daniel, doing business as Daniel's Auto Detailing and Repair. There have also been violations on the property related to the number of cars stored on site. Mr. Daniel is a subtenant of Dwight Miller, who operates Rock City Art Complex, Saloon and Tattoo in the main commercial building on the subject property. Both Mr. Daniel and Mr. Miller were ineligible to apply for the conditional use due to delinquent debts owed to the city of Beloit. Therefore, Jody Miller has applied for the conditional use permit on their behalf. A limited vehicle service use is one which services are provided to vehicles while the owner waits in the car or nearby while the service is performed, like quick lubes and tire shops. What they were currently operating was full-scale auto service, that's where the enforcement action came in. And they didn't have a conditional use even for the limited service repair. If the requested conditional use is approved, the applicant will be required to bring the building and site into compliance with applicable building, zoning, and fire codes. This will include reducing the scope of the work as full-scale auto repair is prohibited in C2. Just in terms of the public input, we did send a public notice out. 2 emails were received regarding the proposed business before Plan Commission. One was from Erica Pennington, who requested the fence be repaired but otherwise supported the application. The other email, which in your packet, there was no saying who he was, but Bill Eggers was the other email, who expressed concern about the business activity currently occurring on site. And during the public hearing at Plan Commission, 4 residents spoke during the public hearing and were opposed to the conditional use. The majority of the complaints were related to noise of the property. There was also concern raised regarding the number of cars parked on site. One person did get up, Alex Blazer, who owns the business next door, and indicated support for the business that was part of the application. And during the Plan Commission meeting, the applicant submitted 4 in-site sketches, which are at the back of your staff report, photos, and a copy of the fire inspection report with written notes as to the work they had completed. They are attached at the very end of the report. After the public hearing and much discussion, the Plan Commission voted 7-0 to recommend approval, subject to the conditions that are listed in the resolution, which were in the packet, which is that the conditional use permit authorizes a limited vehicle service business in the existing 3,500 square foot storage warehouse on the subject property, subject to the conditions below. Full-scale auto repairs prohibited. Customers must wait on site while repairs are made. All gravel areas on the subject property and the adjacent unimproved right-of-way on which the driveway is located shall be paved to the city engineer standards with asphalt or concrete to control dust by July 1st. The limited vehicle service business may only operate between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. each day to prevent disruption to the adjacent residences. No vehicles, regardless of condition or registration status, may be parked outside on the subject property after hours to prevent blight. This prohibition excludes the applicant's personal vehicles and vehicles belonging to customers at the Rock City Art Complex. If all of the above conditions are not met, additional citations for the existing open zoning violation shall be issued to the property owner of record. And then just our standard condition about major changes coming back through this public process, minor changes being approved administratively. And then we're also formally advising them of the following ordinance requirements, which is that the existing privacy fence along the western boundary shall be repaired or replaced to prevent unsightliness by June 1st. As required by the sign ordinance, the abandoned sign along Liberty shall be professionally covered or replaced to reflect the current business to avoid public confusion by July 1st. As required by the building code, a fire-rated wall shall be constructed as directed by the building official and fire inspector to promote fire safety by July 1st. As required by the wastewater treatment ordinance, all floor drains in the shop shall have an approved oil interceptor installed and shall be connected to the sanitary sewer to prevent groundwater contamination by July 1st. As far as we can tell right now, it just drains into the ground, anything that's in that area. And as required by the zoning ordinance, no junk equipment, tires, trailers, or other unsightly items may be stored outside at any time to prevent blight. And then this resolution reflects what the conditional use permit decision form for approval, which is behind the resolution.
Thank you, Julie, for that presentation. At this time, the public hearing is open. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor of the conditional use permit please come forward? Would anyone wishing to speak in favor of the conditional use permit please come forward? Final call. Okay. And if you could come down and state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Waylon Daniel. My address is 319 Hancock in Beloit, Wisconsin. That's my home address. I'm currently operating the detail shop at 2034 Liberty. and we have been complying with some of the codes and the code enforcements that the city wanted us to comply with. We have, for the blacktop, we just got estimates for that, so that's getting put intact. The drain in the building, we're gonna seal that off, because it just goes into the ground, so we're just gonna close it off for the time being. And the fence, that will be up probably tomorrow. The materials just came today, so we got that stuff squared away. And we've been moving a lot of the vehicles out of the area, off the property. When I first came to this building, I was not aware that it was a C2 or anything about the zoning. I'm a full-scale mechanic, so I figure I could just do the full mechanic stuff. On December 28th, I went to apply for the permits and stuff for the business. That's when the city acknowledged me that I couldn't do the full-scale repair. So a lot of the pictures or whatever they had presented to you was presented during that time. But we have cleaned a lot of that stuff up now, and we're changing the business over just for the customers to wait for the work that they need to be done. We're doing tire repair and oil changes. I do window tinting too and car washes, so we're just changing everything around now to comply with whatever the city wants us to expect to do. Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the conditional use permit? If so, would you please come forward? And just for the record, I'll just do another final call. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor of the conditional use permit, please come forward. Now, would anyone opposed to the conditional use permit, please come forward. Would anyone opposed to the conditional use permit, please come forward. Final call. Would anyone opposed to the conditional use permit, please come forward. The public hearing is now closed. Would a counselor wish to make a motion at this time? Counselor Anderson?
Yeah, I move that we approve a substitute resolution denying the CUP as recommended by staff.
There's been a motion by Counselor Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Blakely. Any discussion?
I have a question. Staff, Julie, it looks like several things that needed to be corrected. Have any of this been corrected to date? And has there been any new violations to this property?
So the vehicle violations were corrected because you can have up to 3 unregistered motor vehicles, and so they only had 3 left on a commercial site. You can, and so they were in compliance with the vehicles. I can't speak to I know that Mr. Daniels put that he had completed some of the fire violations, but I don't know that the fire department got back out there to verify that. So I'm not sure about that. And then we did have another violation related to outdoor vending. They were selling food off of the property without a vending license. They're working on that right now, but that came up in the last week.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have a first a motion by Blakely. We have a second by Anderson.
Can I ask another question? Is the applicant present that maybe can speak to some of this? Because if I'm understanding it correctly, that the applicant is the one that's responsible to make sure that all of this is going to be corrected. I think we heard from an individual that works there, but is the actual applicant, and I think that was Jody Miller.
Yeah.
Is she present? Because in my opinion, the applicant is going to be the one that's going to be responsible for these. So I think I would rather hear from, no offense to anyone who spoke, but I would rather hear from the applicant to make sure, because I'm looking at this, it's a list of things that need to be completed. I'm not seeing where a lot of effort has been made from the last time. So I don't know, and if the applicant is reluctant to come and speak to say, I will take care of all this, and even with that, if I can just be honest, I'm not sure that if it hasn't been taken care of, we haven't moved down that road before, are we going to get there?
I'm Jody Miller.
I'm Dwight Miller,
This is
the other
my son.
applicant too. But yeah.
Excuse me just a moment. Hold on just a moment.
We need a factual statement for the record. Who is the applicant for this conditional use?
And so
Okay.
Jody Miller should be the one kind of answering these questions. No offense to White, but she's the one that's applying for, it's going to be, all of this falls on her. So we need to make sure that she's speaking, and even if she says, okay, we're going to make sure that it's taken care of, I guess we need to be convinced that this is going to happen.
He's working on all of it. They already got the estimate.
Jody, excuse me just a moment, because we had a motion and a second. How does that work?
Right, this is discussion. This is part of, yeah, this is
Can
part
you
of the
state your
discussion.
name and address for the record, please?
Jody Miller, 1556 Richard Beloit. Oh,
I'm just trying to get everything so it's on the record. Go ahead.
repeat my name?
Yeah.
Jody Miller, 1556 Richard Street, Beloit. And he's getting all of it worked on. I'm there with him. This is my son. So I'm in there with him doing it. And he's working on it hard to get everything approved. He's pretty much getting there. So just taking a little time, but he got estimates and he's getting
Councilor Forbeck.
There were dates that I saw that certain things had to be finished. I think 2 were June 1st and 1 was July 1st. And so you've got all that information. I believe that there
I
are
did when I
5
signed the paper.
ordinances,
Right.
right? Okay.
I have a couple questions.
Go ahead, Councilor Jacobson.
Thank you. Jody, do you own the property?
My son is he's the one that runs it.
Okay, but who owns the property?
Joel, but what's his last name?
Joe Vandenberg.
Okay. And he's aware of the asphalt that needs to be done? You guys are communicating with him about the things that need to change?
Yes. We're actually in the process of trying to purchase the building from Joe. We've been renting for a while.
Okay.
And as far as the fire, I don't know, did you guys get the fire inspection? Because everything was checked off on that last fire thing that he had brought. 'Cause I know you mentioned that, and also she mentioned something about the food cart. That was my company. I run the building, so Rock City Art Complex. We just purchased a food cart. Has nothing to do with Mr. Daniels' company. I don't understand why that was even.
Well, it's on the site. Today I drove by and the food cart was out front.
Correct, and we just got an email from Drew. Drew Pennington we just paid $795 for our license for the cart. He didn't tell us, he didn't even, I guess he didn't know, 'cause I just got an email from him. We just came up here today to fill out the paperwork with Drew, and then we just paid some more money today, so it wasn't cooking on the cart today. We just found out in the email, so, yeah, but that didn't have nothing to do with Mr. Daniels.
Okay, it's just that it's the site, and so when we go visit it, we want to make sure that everything is in compliance. I also have a question. I noticed that there were at least 4 vehicles parked on the west side between your building and the fence that we've talked about. They must be registered vehicles if?
Yes, they're either registered vehicles. I have probably like 12 people that work inside Rock City itself, and then I have a lot of customers, so I'm not quite sure what vehicles they were, but all the vehicles should be registered.
Okay, so then you have people double park in the side between the fence and in the back of the building?
Just depends on, I'm not sure where it's at, but we pack in sometimes so I can have my customers come in. I have a beauty salon in the front, and some of my customers are older, so yeah, it could have been, I'm not sure.
Now, when I drove back there today, I noticed that there's a fenced, there's a lot that it looks like vehicles are stored into the east of the property. Is that, so are you guys associated with that, or no? Where there's a gate, there's like a gate?
No, that's.
Okay, so that's someone else's property?
Our property is
is just where the gravel is?
Correct.
Okay. No, I don't have any additional questions.
Some of that gravel actually is the city's street too. So our property is kind of smaller than what it looks like.
Are there any other questions or discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Pritchard.
You understand that you'll have to pave that area that's gravel now in order to conform with this conditional use permit?
The city street, or?
That's your commercial property that needs to be paved. It's been like that since the 80s or 70s, as far as I know. So
That's not our property. We have a lot line right there, so our lot is not that street right there.
And that's part of the conditional use permit that's before us today.
They show the property line on the thing, so I'm not quite sure. I'm not seeing what you're speaking about. It should be, on that, look, I see it right there, but there was it shows our lot and shows where we are. It's not that whole thing, there's another company that drives their trucks and stuff through that. It's like a driveway. It's a street. It was a street before.
But the unimproved right-of-way has to be paved.
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
I got an estimate on that already.
Yes. And I actually own a home with a similar situation, and I've got to maintain that. It doesn't matter that the city's got an easement for a future road that'll never be built. I still have to maintain it as my driveway. And you have to maintain it as a commercial property.
Well, what about the people that use it on the other side? They've been driving their semis on that. I'm not quite sure.
Well, I don't know the details of it. I'm just saying that's got to be paved. That's standard operating procedure. It has been since the 70s.
Okay, I guess I'll have to figure that out, but I'm not sure because I don't believe that's my lot or the person that owns the building. I mean, I'm not quite sure. I'm leasing right now, so.
As a point of clarification, on page 18 of the staff report, on item 7, all gravel areas on the subject property and the adjacent unimproved right-of-way on which the driveway is located shall be paved to the city engineer's standards and asphalt or concrete to control dust by July 1st, 2019. I am not confident that the applicant fully understands this condition or is able to comply.
Well, like I said, I would have to take that up with the property owner because I'm not sure he believes that's his property. So I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but I don't know how.
What we're saying is that this condition is for not only the subject property, but the adjacent right-of-way.
Okay, so.
And that is a requirement of this conditional use.
Okay.
It does not appear clear to me that Jody Miller, who is the applicant in this case, and not you, sir, understands fully what is expected as a condition of this permit as recommended by the Plan Commission. I am simply stating that for the record because in order for a conditional use permit to be granted with conditions, the applicant must agree and fully understand what those conditions are.
I understand. That the whole thing, he has to be paved. Even the part that they use to go to the other lot.
Councilor Blakely.
Jody, Ms. Miller, you anticipated my question, but will you be able to enforce that among the people? I know family ties are one thing, but is there a professional authority that you have about this property so you can help bring it up to code as you just agreed to?
I'm with him, so, I mean, it's my son, and yeah, we'll make sure.
I know he's your son. You're listed as the applicant. Excuse me. You're listed as the applicant.
Right.
And although we asked to hear from you, I'm trying to be fair-minded here and keep my ears open as we go. But we asked you as the applicant, explain the necessity of you speaking. So, but your son having spoken, he's seemed unclear about this part of it. So I'm asking you, because you said that you are clear and you are the official applicant,
right,
whether you have enforcement rights within the company.
Yeah, if that's what he has to do, then, but he doesn't understand that part was his till now. So the estimate will have to go over to the whole part.
Go ahead, Councilor Levy.
The question, what business interest do you have in this whole thing? What is your interest in the business into this?
I'm gonna be in it with him.
When you say in with
Part of the buying the,
because
he's
Go ahead.
trying to purchase the building, and I'm gonna be with him doing that.
if I just need to be honest, my comfort level is not there. That we have a lot of things that need to be done. I'm not hearing concrete ways of it will be done, it will not be done, how are we going to get it done? Once it gets done, who's going to follow up to make sure that it's done correctly? Who's going to be in control of all of this? What I'm hearing is we're working on it, we're going to get to it, we know it needs to be done, it's not done yet. We're going to get around to it. That's not my property. What I'm hearing is a bunch of excuses, and I don't mean to be harsh.
Right.
But when we sit down here, we got to look at more than just one business, one section. We got to look at the entire city. So we have a department that says, if you want this conditional use permit, here's what you must do. And what I'm hearing, we just had a counselor that said she drove by there today, and there's a lot of things that's still not done. I'm not convinced that we're going to get this done. I'm not convinced. And I think the applicant is saying I'm the applicant because I just want to say I'm the applicant so we can move forward with this business. My comfort level is not there. There's been a motion and a second. I say let's call for the vote.
Before we do that, could we have your son state his name and address for the record? Because we didn't get that when we started out. We just went right into asking questions. So could you do that, please?
Yeah, Dwight Miller, 1804 Glen Avenue.
Okay. Then I also want to clarify the motion because I didn't clarify that the correct way. There was a motion made by Councilor Anderson. There was a second by Blakely. So with that said, all in favor, say aye.
Can we repeat the motion again, please?
The motion is to adopt the substitute resolution denying the CUP as recommended by staff.
And so just for clarification purposes, voting in favor of this, we'll be voting to deny, correct? Voting against it.
Correct. The resolution
Correct.
title is denying a
Correct.
conditional use permit to allow a limited vehicle service use in a C2 neighborhood commercial district for the property located at 2034 Liberty Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay. So again, we have a motion on the floor by Anderson. We have a second by Blakely. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay. We have now reached the point in the agenda for residents to speak to the council about issues that are coming before us or may come before us in the future. Council members may not act on any request at this meeting, but may refer a speaker to staff for assistance. We ask that you hold your comments to 3 minutes or less and refrain from personal attacks of any kind. Public comment is a privilege, and we expect everyone to conduct themselves in a civil manner. Speakers are asked to complete a public comment form and turn in prior to the meeting. Each individual will be invited to the podium and asked to state your name and address for the record. Anyone wishing to speak at this time? If there are, go ahead, come down, Pastor. If you could come down to the podium, please, and then you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Reverend Dr. Norris C. Jackson, Jr. My address is 1314 Athletic Avenue. I'm the pastor of Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church. And we wanted to come down here today to extend a personal thank you to you, Madam President, and all the committee people that came out and supported us, and particular to you, Madam Manager, for coming and being a part of the National Day of Prayer. I can't begin to say how much and what your presence meant to me, to the church and to the community and the city. It was just fantastic, and I wanted to thank you all so much for being present. I also want to thank you for again coming out a second time on that Saturday and participating, marching with us as we marched for peace in our community and in our city. And I can't again just say how grateful that I am as a pastor in this city, and how grateful my parishioners are as citizens in the city of Beloit. To see you all there, it meant so much. To hear the prayers, the speeches, the comments of togetherness, of unity, of peace. It goes beyond words, and we wanted to come out to let you all know that we're here to support you in the adventures of making Beloit its best, regardless of what folk think and what folks say. Unless you hear, you don't know how good, amen, this city is, and it is a hidden gem.
Amen.
And I'm finding that out. I want to thank our police chief that was present. I want to thank our fire chief that was present. I want to thank all the public service officers that were present on both days, that came and even participated, just in the day of peace. I want to personally thank our former council president, Mr. Kevin Levy, for coming out and just assisting and helping in everything that's going forth. I can't say enough good things about you and about this city and about where I believe God is taking us. It is to higher heights, and I wanted to thank you all so much, and I applaud you. We applaud you in your effort. Anybody else want to say something?
Yeah. Did anyone else want to say something?
If I can, with Brother Scott Davis, and I want to call him what I called him before, but he is one of our members and a trustee at our church, and he is also working to organize a city. Well, he has worked and has organized a city softball league for the children. And our next efforts that we have is to give assistance to him and to the children in the city of Beloit, that they have something to do and places to go over the summer. And so I just want to thank you all in advance for the help and assistance that we're going to give him. Do you want to say something?
No, not
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I know a few councilors wanted to make a few comments too as well. We'll start with Councilor Forbeck.
Well, I just want to say thank you. I just felt enveloped with the warm welcoming that we had and the togetherness there. I'm telling you, I was goosebumps most of the time. So thank you for organizing this and presenting that. It was a privilege.
Councilor Blakely, did you have something? No, I just want to say thank you so much, Pastor. We could feel the love, and when we had all this rain coming down, didn't affect us at all. So we just kept praying. So like I said at the event, it's something that we have to continue, not just on that National Day of Prayer, but every day. So thank you all for your efforts, and we look forward to doing even more with you. Have a great night.
Thank you. No, don't.
Kevin, did you have something?
Yeah, don't say look to doing more with them, because they wore me out. And all good, very well organized. Heard a lot of positive response from the community, but definitely a great time. I mean, to be honest, I had to go out and buy tennis shoes and something to walk in, because I don't really own a lot of tennis shoes. But I just tell you how much I get out to exercise. But great event, and for you to be from out of town and stand here and say what you said tonight, that if you're not from here, you don't understand. It comes at a perfect time when we have people like USA Today trying to rank us the worst city in Wisconsin. So to hear your comments and coming out and hearing this from someone who's not from the city speaks volumes. So as I often say, we speak the positive about Beloit. So if this is recorded, and I'm sure it is, Sarah, make sure we send this to USA Today and say, here's an outsider coming in and seeing what we can do. But I think what impressed me the most is the entire community came together and you called and people responded. And I think that's what shows you how great Beloit is, that it didn't matter what church was doing it. It was a need. You put out a call and people responded. So thank you very much for including me. The next time there's 6 other people around here to just because of the hard work that you put in, and you're just a humble man. And you're giving gratitude to everyone else, but you put your heart and soul into this. You know, conference calls at 10 o'clock at night. So it's letting you know that you and your church put a lot of work into this. And I know you say it's not to shine light on Bethel, but anytime you're doing it, you need to recognize and recognize that your parishioners in your church, and people need to recognize you, because you didn't have to do it. So we appreciate what you did too.
Thank you.
And I just want to, just to piggyback off of what Councilor Levy said, you were so inclusive. There were people from all denominations, all races, and it was just all of the community, and I certainly appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
May I
ma'am.
say a brief word now?
Oh, go ahead.
My mic is on purpose this time.
Okay.
I just wanted to thank you all again and point out that although, as you said, Pastor, you're recently moved to Beloit, you see how our city welcomes people from the so-called outside and helps make you a true member of our community right away, just as you all welcomed people at the events. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Eyes have not seen nor ears heard what God is yet to do. So we invite you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to address the council this evening? If there are no other public, come on up. Can you please come on down and state your name and address for the record, please?
Hi, my name is Cynthia McNeese.
The mic.
Laura, could you help her?
Yeah. Now we can hear you.
My name is Cynthia McNeese. I live at 2009 North Street. And I was at the council meeting 2 weeks ago, and there were several students that came forward and talked about Beloit becoming a greener city. And I would like to know your thoughts in the last 2 weeks about how we could do better as counselors and city manager. What could we do different to implement some things that would make Beloit a greener city? And maybe we could stand out in the state of Wisconsin and do some things that would make a difference down the road. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to address the council this evening? If there are no other public comments, we will go on to item 6, consent agenda.
All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which the event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point on the agenda.
I move to accept the consent
Would any counselor
agenda.
like any item, anything removed? I'll go back to the record.
Oh,
Would any
sorry.
counselor like anything removed from the consent agenda? The consent agenda consists of items 6A through 6D. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move.
Motion by Forbeck, second by Jacobson. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7A, please.
Consideration of ordinance number Consideration of resolution number 2019-60, approving 2017-2019 applicants for an alcohol beverage operator bartender's license for the period April 30th, May 14th. You have in your paper packet, because the system is down, 4 operators for approval, 0 for denial.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve item 7A? Motion by Preschel, second by Jacobson. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go on to item 7B.
Consideration of resolution 2019-061, approving a Class A beer and a Class A intoxicating liquor license for Ohana Spirits LLC, doing business as Ohana Spirits, located at 2648 Prairie Avenue. Nicole Fisher, the agent, for the license period ending June 30th, 2019. What you have before you tonight is the old Nico's Convenience that was granted their license after a second consideration. They came before you, were granted that in November. He and his significant other had had some conversation, and they decided that Nicole Fisher would better be the business runner. He still owns the business. So if this is approved tonight, Nicole Fisher will be the agent and run Ohana Spirits LLC on that property. If it is not approved, the existing license of Nico's would continue. When this comes back to you for the renewals, both of the items on 7B and 7C would reflect whatever name it is in the decision that you make tonight. So if I bring this back, the renewal will come back as Ohana's, not Nico's. And I think the city attorney has something to say.
Just to clarify also, at the Alcohol Commission, they did vote to have a condition on the license that there be no alcohol sales through the drive-through. So that's a distinction that I wanted to make on the record.
Thank you very much for that.
It is in the recommendation for approval, yes.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve item 7B, please? Okay. Motion by Levy, second by, was it Jacobson? Okay. Any discussion?
I just want to make a comment. I've said it before. This is in my neighborhood. I drive by, I see a sign that says Ohana Spirits coming soon. You know, I don't like when applicants are presumptive and think that, you know, perhaps this will be approved. Please just give us the courtesy to make a formal vote before we start advertising for new business.
Thank you, that was well said.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go on to item 7C.
Consideration of resolution 2019-62, approving an amended application to reflect a change of ownership on a Class B beer and Class B intoxicating liquor license for Maxine Social LLC, doing business as Maxine Social, located at 863 5th Street. Zachariah R. Davis, agent, for the license period ending June 30th, 2019. What you have before you here is what was the alumni, and then Zach had come forward and got a liquor license under the new Pop House, and he has done quite a bit of renovations inside, and upon decorating, he's got a big picture of his grandmother, who is Maxine's, and he would like to change the business name and incorporate to Maxine Social. So Zachariah was previously an individual, is coming before you today as an LLC. And of course, when I bring this back, I will be bringing back the renewal, however you decide on this resolution.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve item 7C, please?
So moved.
Motion by Blakely, is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. From there, we'll go to item 8A.
The individuals named below, oh, I'm sorry, now we're on ordinances, I keep jumping. Ordinance number 3648 to create 1802 sub 15 sub N of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit, authorizing outdoor vending for Woofstock Concert event sponsored by the Humane Society of Southern Wisconsin. This is second reading.
Can I have a motion to approve item 8A, please? Motion by Preschel.
Second.
Second by Anderson. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll go on to item 8B.
Consideration of ordinance number 3649 to amend certain sections of the Index of Special Locations, Special Ordinances, Section 1302 of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit to remove parking in front of the mailbox clusters for Beloit Housing Authority properties along Merrill, Sunshine, and Risher. This is first reading.
And I believe our Public Works Director, Williamson, has a presentation for us this evening.
Good evening. The United States Postal Service has reached out to us and is looking at having us place cluster mailboxes in developments for ease of mail delivery. As a part of that, we already have these cluster mailboxes in front of our housing authority properties, 4 in particular that have been outlined. And so we are requesting that we have no parking in front of these cluster mailboxes for ease of our residents being able to get their mail. So this was brought before the Traffic Review Committee, and this was unanimously approved as well.
Thank you.
Madam President, before we move for a motion, is there a reason we cannot move this to a second reading? That would be a second and final reading, so.
So should I take a motion, or go ahead, Beth?
I didn't know if
Right, so what I,
he was asking the question of, but there's, you certainly could move, delay the matter over.
Right. Well, I think what I would like to do is.
Second reading tonight.
Yeah,
if
I would like to just move this directly to a second and final reading and move for approval this evening.
you need to move to suspend the rules
Right.
first.
But I just want to make sure that we're okay with that. So I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and make this a second reading.
Second. Okay, we have a motion by Levy. We have a second by Jacobson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Now to the merits. I would like to make a motion that we approve this this item.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Levy. We have a second by Forbeck. So any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll move on to item 9.
Under appointments this evening, there are 2 appointments to the Board of Ethics, Municipal and the Municipal Library Board. We'll take those in one motion unless a counselor wants to have them taken separately. The Board of Ethics is appointing Louise Rivas Austin to a term expiring December 31st, 2020, and to the Municipal Library Board, Elizabeth Magnus, to a term expiring June 30th, 2020.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
So there's a motion by Blakely, a second by Levy. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Under 9B, you have an appointment recommendation to appoint Nora Guard to the Board of Review for a term expiring December 2021.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
I so move.
Okay. So we have a first by Prushel, a second by Forbeck. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, we are on to counselor activities and upcoming events. So let's start with Counselor Prushel.
That may be very short. I've been ill, so I haven't been doing much of anything since the Kruger ribbon cutting. But it's looking good, and Beloit's, I don't care what those goofy websites say, Beloit's better than ever, and they should get off their negative bus. Thank you.
Okay.
Counselor Jacobson.
What Mark said.
Counselor Blakely.
Did you get that in the minutes?
Counselor Blakely.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I just wanted to say that I attended my first golf course committee meeting last week. I was so impressed with not just Mark Edwards from our city, but the other members of the committee. They're an enthusiastic, dedicated, and hardworking group of people who get so much done in a very short amount of time. I wanted to pass along, some of them said directly, thanks to Mark Prushel for getting us started with a representative from City Council. I'm happy to step into the role. They made it worthwhile getting up at 7, and yes, they did have a cup of coffee for me. I'm special. I'm special. And although I was out of town the day of the ribbon cutting, I got to see the interior of the clubhouse. It's really wonderful. And I'll just say to everybody in the city that it's a great venue if you have a special event coming up, like a birthday party or an anniversary. It would even be good for a wedding reception. So please keep that in mind. It looks really sharp. You don't have to be a golf player in order to go out and enjoy the clubhouse. Stop at the pub for a sandwich, soft drink, whatever, and take a look around. Just enjoy the view. You look out on the greenery of the course, which is very well maintained, and don't hold me to this, but there's an outside chance I might take up golf again. Uh-oh. So thanks very much. And I just wanted to mention the farmers market coming up this Saturday. We're going great guns again. We've got one of the best farmers markets in our state. It's something to see and participate in. And this Saturday, I happen to know that the organization called JOB, it's a faith-based group, Justice Overcoming Borders, that works for social justice. They have a special sale of specially baked monk's bread. So I'm going to be there to support them, support the farmers market in general, have some fun, and find out just what monk's bread is. And I met a young man last night who's probably going to be turning in an official application to volunteer to be a member of the Equal Opportunities Commission. So it's a great way to participate even more in our city, being on any one of our committees or commissions, depending on your own interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Blakely. Now, Councilor Levy.
Nothing. I am nothing.
No.
Okay.
No, nothing.
Oh, my.
Councilor Forbeck.
Well, I was at two things that Councilor Levy was at. I'm going to mention the wonderful day of prayer, and then the March for Peace. I have to say that at the March for Peace, there was, somebody calling out, what do we want? Peace. When do we want it now? And I made almost the mistake of saying to someone as though they could remember. I said, well, it seemed like the 60s to me. And then as I was looking at this young face, I said, not, of course, that you were there. Anyway, so those were two wonderful things. And of course, the farmers market. And then also because I live at the Phoenix Apartments, I got to look down at all the kids loving our public works machines and chatting with the staff. So that was great fun. People really loved that event. So that's it.
Okay. Vice President Anderson.
Yes. Last week I went to Beloit Memorial High School, and it was a great conversation with a bunch of students, and despite what some people say about kids these days, I think we'll be just fine. I did have a few of them that sounded interested in applying for committees. We do have some youth positions, and I did tell them that if they do not apply, I will find them and talk to them again until they do. So hopefully they get that application soon, and so I don't have to talk to them about that. Upcoming this Wednesday, the Vets Roll Welcome Back event is coming up. That's always a great event that comes back. If you haven't been to it, it's just a great feeling to see everybody come back, all these people that sacrificed a lot to fight for our freedoms. So go there, show some support. Really kicks off the whole Memorial Day weekend. So get out there if you have the chance. It's at the Eclipse Center. And then speaking of that, on Monday, the Memorial Day Parade, hopefully most of us will be walking in that, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yes, you got new shoes for that, so that's great. Yeah.
Exercise for the year.
Next year we'll be biking. And then I just wanted to thank our city manager for the response to that USA Today article. That was,
Right.
I think most of the people in the community went to defense of that and said that was, while we have our issues, that is far from what we feel Beloit is. So I really want to thank you for that. It was a quick response. It was a great response. And like I said, the vast majority of the community agreed with you, so thank you for doing that.
Thank you. I think you all have covered it all, and I just want to just say, especially like you, Clinton, thank you to all our veterans for their sacrifices and all that they do for us. Very much appreciated. I can understand that firsthand. My dad was a veteran. He was in the Army, and then my husband was in the Marine Corps. So for me, it's in my heart. And so I just want to say to all the veterans, you are appreciated, and we thank you for your service. And I also want to encourage residents to please come out to our Memorial Day Parade. It's a lot of fun. And so we're looking forward to everybody making that event. And I think it's at 9 o'clock, right, on the Monday? Okay. All right. So with that said, we'll go on to item 11, our city manager's presentation.
Thank you. Tonight we have a fun presentation. We have our Public Works Director, Laura Williamson, and our Director of Parks and Recreation, Mark Edwards, and our new employee who is with us this evening to help present some updates and changes and what's new at Kruger Pool. I had to say it 3 times. Yes. Sorry, Beth. I want to make it yours. I really do. At our pool. And as always, our Parks and Recreation Department knows how to have fun. So they have edible props for the council this evening.
Wow.
And a great photo opportunity.
And
so
we are kicking off our modeling career tonight.
We are.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Thanks. And welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Oh, wow. This is serious business.
I am very crooked.
And I am incredibly proud of the work that we're doing to continue to modernize and to instill safety measures to make it both fun and safe to come to our pool. So I will turn it over to staff at this point, but thank you very much for making this fun for us this evening. Who says you can't talk about new rules and policies without having a good time?
Right, right.
Thank you very much, Lori. We're going to go ahead and let Tanya have a few seconds to get out the popcorn as you enjoy the show, if you will. Yes, yes. We could not make it exactly hot, but we tried.
Sorry, audience members.
No.
A barn fan, so when we make this popcorn, we're going to blow it all over.
Yes, we are.
Reel everybody in.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you again, Lori, for allowing us to present this evening. And we are the Parks and Rec Division of our Public Works Department, and we are the team, our whole team loves to have fun. So tonight we're very, very excited to talk about one of Beloit's great gems, which is our pool. And I can tell you firsthand, my grandson loves to go to the pool, and I'm looking very much forward to enjoying that with him again this summer. So with that, I want to share with you at your place, we have the opening date of the pool, which is June 8th, so we want to get that on everyone's calendars. And as a part of the fun factor that we're adding to the pool this year, we are actually doing a live broadcast there with ZOK on June 15th. So again, just really trying to raise the bar on some of the level of fun we can actually have at the pool. And as Lori mentioned, this year we have a number of things that we are unveiling at the pool, and it's really to enhance the experience for our citizens and our guests when they come to our pool. We are instituting this year some bag checks. We want to make sure that we can have a very safe environment when families are coming to enjoy the pool. So we're predominantly going to be looking for glass items and for sharp objects. So if you want to cut up that watermelon, please just don't do it inside the pool. If you forget, we're going to ask you to go back out to the parking lot, cut your watermelon, and bring it right back in. But we're really trying not to have any glass. It's not real good on bare feet or in the pool. So we're predominantly looking for glass and sharp objects with our new bag checks. And we'll be doing that with all of the bags, coolers, things coming into the pool. Also, it came to our attention, and you have it attached to your agenda, if I could have you turn to the second page. We've learned that at some of our facilities, citizens get a little overly passionate when they might be attending one of our facilities. And so with that, we are instituting this year and putting at our facilities a code of conduct. And it's really to try to drive home to our citizens again that when you come to a city facility, we're going to try to make it as safe as possible. It also helps our staff that in the event we have an overzealous citizen or guest, that we have some rules that we can point to let them know, hey, if you're not going to follow a code of conduct of safety, we potentially may need to remove you, and depending on the violation, we may not ask you to come back. But this allows us to upfront outline what expectations are, and more importantly, to help our staff to, again, try to really ensure a safe environment at visiting our facilities. So you will see that starting to be posted at many of our public facilities. The other item I wanted to mention to you is that at the pool, we want to invite families to come with their kids, and so we're asking folks that if the kids are 12 and over, they can be unaccompanied by an adult. If they are under the age of 12, they need to have a parent or a custodian with them for those age groups, again, to ensure safety. And you can see we are sporting something new, and we're extremely, extremely excited about this year. Yes, we have. And as Lori mentioned...
Doesn't have anything on me.
No, in fact, we want to turn it around.
Do
What we're doing...
Guardians behind
Yes,
you
our
too.
life jackets. And what we are offering this year is we are learning that not everybody learns how to swim. It is very much a lifelong skill that we really are trying to drive home for our citizens. So in the event we have a guest or a citizen that comes to the pool and is not as comfortable in the water as perhaps maybe they need to be, and our lifeguards are recognizing that, we are offering this year free life vests that will be at the pool. They will be marked, so it's only while you are visiting the pool, but we are making those available this year, both in adult size, as you see, as well as for youth. And we have them in all sizes, from very wee tots all the way up to adults. So that's something free of charge for our guests. Also, something new this year, we are not allowing flotation devices like this, as you see Mr. Edwards wearing, but we are allowing what is called a puddle jumper or any type of a flotation device that is U.S. Coast Guard approved. So that is something new. Again, it really makes it an unsafe condition for our lifeguards as they're trying to keep an eye in the pool. If we have a lot of those flotations or even those arm floaties, certainly use them elsewhere. We're just not asking you to bring them to the pool, but to have U.S. Coast Guard approved flotation devices. And if you don't have one, we have one to provide for you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Edwards.
Hey, how's the popcorn?
Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful.
Great, well, that's one of our new items this year. Why do I have to talk into that?
So much stuff.
So we are going to have popcorn. I thought about buying a barn fan, so when that popcorn is freshly popped, we could blow that aroma out into the pool area, reel those kids in over to the concession stand, because then we're also going to have hot dogs this year for the first time. And what kid doesn't like an Oscar Mayer wiener, right? And we got, I looked at today, oh, sorry. I looked today, we got our weenie wheel in. I was like a kid. I was like, look at that, that's like watching one of those Ferris wheels go around with the hot dogs on it. Oh my God, that was cool. So we're excited about those two items. We think that it's going to actually probably bring more people in. We hope it does. And then some of the things that we've done as far as facility enhancements, we're just about done with repainting the main pool and the diving well. That should be done either this week or next week. Actually looks very nice, yeah. We will be installing a new shade structure this summer. We don't have a lot of shade. We used to have some trees there. Unfortunately, they were not box elder, but ash trees. We had to take those out, so we are going to be installing a shade structure. In addition to that, which is not on here, we will be installing a couple of concrete picnic tables in the concession area that will have umbrellas on them. So we will have plenty of shade this summer. Then in the fall, we are going to install a new roof, which is badly needed. But again, to protect what we have there, we need to do this. So that will be done in the fall. And then finally, we're going to have a credit card machine for the first time. So anybody that's coming into the pool will be allowed to use a credit card to get in. And we will also have a credit card for them to buy popcorn and hot dogs and candy and whatever else flips their fancy. So we are making some nice changes, again, trying to enhance their time at the pool, their time with recreation, their time with just having a good time.
And then lastly, I wanted to report on a pilot program we started that we're very excited about. And again, as I mentioned early on in the presentation, how important swimming is for a lifelong skill. And it really needs to start at younger ages. And so with that, this past school year, we partnered, the City of Beloit partnered with the Y and with the school district to offer a free swimming lessons to 2 of the 4th grade classes. I am so excited to announce that we served 362 kids that learned how to swim. It was so overwhelmingly received that we are now going to continue that program to all 4th graders. So what we're very excited about is we're hopeful that kids are going to go home and talk about it. So if they have other family members, they can also participate in the swimming lesson programs we have yet this summer. You can find it in our summer programs. You can take those lessons at Kruger Pool. As well as if you don't know how to swim, we have the flotation devices, so we're really, really trying to have a full experience at our pool for all of our families to not only enjoy but bring guests and visitors. So with that, that's the end of our presentation, so please come out.
Let me add one thing. There was one negative to that swimming program. There were a lot of upset 5th graders.
So is there any questions we could answer you? We provided you a flyer also of the pool so that you have what the fee schedule is, et cetera. Any questions? Is there anything we can answer for you? Please,
Go
Sherry.
ahead, Counselor Blakely.
You mentioned the new lower age requirement without a parent. Is someone my age or older allowed to come in without a child? To look out for me?
But you know what, Sherry? We all have that little kid in us.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Laura,
Thank you.
Laura, first I just want to say thank you. I've been out to Kruger Pool, and I know all of us did. It was part of our tour, and so we could see all of the updates that needed to be done. So I'm glad you made it work. You and Mark, you're doing a terrific job, and we truly appreciate that. And then I'm just hoping, and I'm sure Sarah's already on top of this, as far as putting it on our website and getting that word out into our Beloit report and all our information so the public is aware of all these new wonderful changes for the summer.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Vice President Anderson, just a moment.
I just want to really thank you for that partnership with the YMCA. That is amazing. That's such a great benefit to the community. So I really want to thank you and all people involved in that. So keep doing that. That is absolutely awesome. I do have one thing though. You didn't have to convince Mark to do that, did you?
No, absolutely not. He was a natural. He was a natural.
I wanted to make sure. I didn't think you had to.
And then before you leave, could you just come up? We'll just grab a quick photo. Sarah, can you grab a photo real quick? Oh, Laura, I just thought it was the cutest. Let's just take a quick photo. Can you come back real quick? Okay. We'll just come up. Just 1 second. Let's just do it. Bring your. Yeah, you're going to use this there. Let's just do a quick photo real quick. Let the public know, and this way we can use it on our website and promote that. It starts with us. Let's just do it real quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're going?
Right here. Just right here really quick, and then we'll just end it. We're going to adjourn.
You guys got to bring your popcorn.
Get your popcorn. You can use this, and we got to lead by example.
Right.
So we got to lead it.
Right.
We got to do this promotion for our.
Come to work.
Come
on in.
everybody.
We just take a
We
quick
go through
minute.
this all the time.
Where is everybody?
I'm going to be right over Mark's shoulder.
Do you want to hold that?
Got it.
That's good.
All right.
Yeah, we
Everybody
gotta do
scrunch
this.
in. We're family.
All right. 1, 2.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.
Boy, I want to go to the pool.
Next, item 12.
The city council may adjourn into closed session in the city manager's conference room on the fourth floor pursuant to 1985 sub 1 sub E of the Wisconsin statutes, specifically to discuss the potential purchase of 737 Bluff Street. The council will not reconvene into open session.
May I have a motion to go into closed session? We've got a motion from Levy, Council Levy. Who did the second first? Was that?
I think.
Okay, a second by Preschel. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned to go into closed session.